Let me ask you something, gently and honestly. Are you truly walking on your own path, or are you unknowingly following a path that someone else created for you? Most of us don't realize it, but our entire life is shaped by ideas we never questioned, ideas from society, from religion, from teachers, from our parents, and even from our own past experiences. We follow traditions without understanding them, we chase spiritual methods without knowing why, and we listen to countless voices except the quiet voice of our own awareness. But what if all these paths, all these formulas, all these sacred instructions are actually preventing you from discovering something far deeper? This is exactly what Jiddu Krishnamurti revealed when he said one of the most shocking sentences in spiritual history: "Truth is a pathless land." With this one line, he broke every idea humanity had about spirituality. He shattered the very concept of following a guru, following a tradition, or following a technique. He challenged us to see that truth cannot be reached by walking on a map that somebody else drew. Truth cannot be handed down like a belief. Truth cannot belong to any religion, any organization, or any system. Truth can only be discovered by a mind that is completely free, free from conditioning, free from authority, and free from fear. So today, dear seeker, I invite you to pause for a moment. Look gently into your own life. Are you searching for truth through someone else's eyes? Are you hoping that a method, a guru, or a philosophy will save you? Or are you ready to step into a new way of living, where truth is not followed, but seen? This video is an invitation to explore that freedom. In 1929, something extraordinary happened, something the spiritual world had never seen before. Thousands of people had gathered to hear Jiddu Krishnamurti speak. They believed he was chosen to be a world teacher, a kind of modern messiah who would guide humanity into a new age. An entire organization, the Order of the Star, had been built around him. There were trustees, leaders, followers, structures, rules, everything set up for Krishnamurti to become the center of a global spiritual movement. But what he did next shocked everyone. Instead of accepting this role, he walked up to the stage with complete calmness and dissolved the entire organization. He said, with clear and fearless simplicity, "Truth is a pathless land, and no organization can lead a man to spirituality." People were stunned. Many had dedicated their lives to this movement. Many expected Krishnamurti to give them teachings, techniques, guidance, and direction. But he refused to become anyone's authority. He refused to be a guru. He refused to give people a spiritual system to follow. He said, "If I were to organize you, I would become your cage." For Krishnamurti, spirituality was not about following a leader, it was about discovering freedom. By dissolving the order, he showed the world that truth cannot be owned, controlled, or delivered through a structure. It must be seen directly by each human being. His declaration shattered centuries of spiritual tradition, but it also freed seekers from dependence. It invited people to stand on their own feet, to look with their own eyes, and to think without fear. This moment was not a rejection of spirituality, it was the purest form of spirituality. It reminded humanity that true awakening begins only when we stop leaning on others and finally learn to see for ourselves. Krishnamurti often explained that no path, whether religious, spiritual, or philosophical, can ever lead to truth, and he gave a very simple yet profound reason. A path always leads to a fixed destination, something already known, something already mapped out by someone else. But truth, he said, is not a fixed point. It is not a place we reach after years of effort. It is something alive, fluid, constantly unfolding in the present moment. A path is created by the past, by another person's experience, another person's conclusions, another person's beliefs. And when we follow someone else's path, we are simply repeating, imitating, and copying. Even if the path comes from a great saint or a celebrated guru, it still remains a second-hand experience for us. Krishnamurti gently reminded us that imitation cannot bring freedom, and repetition cannot bring understanding. He said that a mind walking on a path becomes dull, mechanical, and conditioned. It stops observing life directly and begins to see everything through borrowed ideas. But truth demands a mind that is fresh and free, a mind that can look without the filters of belief, fear, or expectation. He would often say, a mind burdened with knowledge of what should be, cannot see what is. In other words, when we chase a path, we are always moving toward an imagined future, and in that movement we lose the beauty and clarity of the present. Krishnamurti emphasized that truth appears only when the mind is no longer seeking a result. When the mind is quiet, open, and attentive, truth reveals itself naturally, without effort, without method, without direction. So the real question is not, which path should I follow, but can I be free enough to look at life directly, without any path at all? This is the essence of his teaching. When people first hear Krishnamurti talk about rejecting outer authority, they usually think it means only refusing to follow gurus, religions, or spiritual leaders. But Krishnamurti pointed to something much deeper. He said that even if we walk away from every teacher in the world, we may still remain prisoners of an authority inside us. This inner authority is far more subtle and far more powerful. It is the authority of our own past, our memories, our conclusions, our fears, our desires, and the voices we carry within us from childhood. We obey these inner voices without even noticing it. They tell us what is right and wrong, what is spiritual or unspiritual, what we should become, and what we must avoid. They judge us constantly. They direct our thoughts, shape our choices, and color our perception. And because we have listened to them for so long, we believe they are us. But Krishnamurti asked a radical question: is it possible to look at life without the past interfering? He explained that our inner authority acts like a lens that distorts everything we see. When we look at ourselves through the lens of fear, we see problems everywhere. When we look through the lens of desire, we only see what we want to see. When we look through the lens of past experiences, we never meet life freshly. This is why he said that real freedom begins inside, when we start observing these inner voices without obeying them. Simply watching them, without judgment, weakens their power. In that silent observation, a space opens up where clear perception becomes possible. Krishnamurti taught that this freedom from inner authority is not rebellion, it is intelligence. It allows you to meet each moment with innocence, clarity, and truth, instead of with the heavy weight of yesterday. When Krishnamurti spoke about real freedom, he did not mean the freedom to do whatever we like or to follow every impulse of desire. He pointed to a much deeper freedom, freedom from the known. The known is everything we carry inside us, our memories, beliefs, opinions, hurts, expectations, and conclusions about life. These create an invisible cage that shapes how we see the world. Krishnamurti said that a mind trapped in this cage cannot ever see truth, because it keeps interpreting life through the filters of the past. Real freedom, he explained, begins when the mind is able to observe without distortion. It is the ability to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be or fear them to be. This freedom gives rise to a very different quality of mind, a mind that is quiet but alert, still but sensitive, silent yet fully awake. Such a mind does not judge quickly, does not jump to conclusions, and does not cling to opinions. Instead, it listens deeply. It learns freshly in each moment. Krishnamurti emphasized that this clarity is not gained through discipline, control, or practice. You cannot force the mind into freedom. You cannot train yourself into truth. Rather, freedom arises naturally when the mind becomes aware of its own conditioning. The simple act of seeing your thoughts, your reactions, your fears, without resisting them and without identifying with them, creates space. And in that space, intelligence blooms. He beautifully said, in the very act of seeing, the truth is revealed. That means truth is not something far away. It is not something you reach someday. It is revealed instantly when the mind is clear, open, and free of the noise of the past. This effortless clarity is the essence of real freedom. Krishnamurti often said that walking the pathless land requires a very rare courage, the courage to be alone. But this aloneness is not loneliness, it is a state of inner clarity where you are no longer leaning on anyone for psychological security. Most people feel safe when they belong to a group, a tradition, a belief system, or a community. We feel comfort when we think someone else, some teacher, some religion, some philosophy, will guide us, protect us, or give us the right answers. But Krishnamurti explained that dependence, no matter how comforting, creates fear. It makes us afraid to question, afraid to see with our own eyes, afraid to stand on our own understanding. He said that true spiritual maturity begins when we stop running from this fear and begin to look at ourselves without support, without comparison, and without the desire to be led. When you stand alone in this way, something beautiful happens, your mind becomes simple, honest, and unafraid. You stop pretending, stop imitating, stop trying to become something. In that simplicity, a different kind of intelligence awakens, a natural intelligence that is not shaped by society or tradition. It is not personal, not ego-driven, not based on ambition. It is the quiet intelligence of pure observation. Krishnamurti often said that this aloneness is like a clean mirror. When there is no crowd inside your mind, you can finally see things clearly. You respond to life freshly, not through habits. You meet people with openness, not with images. You face challenges with sensitivity, not with fear. This aloneness is not isolation from life, it is a deep intimacy with life. It is the freedom to be yourself without pressure, without influence, and without the weight of other people's expectations. This is the sacred strength of being truly, inwardly alone. Humanize 308 words. Krishnamurti never offered a method, yet he gave us a simple and profound invitation to live with awareness in our daily life. He said that truth is not found in caves, monasteries, or special practices, it is discovered in the ordinary moments of each day if the mind is quiet and attentive. So how do we live this teaching? It begins with watching your thoughts without fighting them. When a thought arises, fear, desire, anger, memory, just observe it gently, without calling it good or bad. This simple watching creates a space in the mind, and in that space, the thought loses its power. Krishnamurti also encouraged us to question every belief we hold, even the spiritual ones. He asked, do you believe because you have seen it clearly, or because someone told you to believe? When you begin to question sincerely, you discover which beliefs are alive and which are simply inherited. Another aspect of living the pathless land is being deeply attentive in ordinary moments, while walking, eating, listening, speaking. Let awareness become natural, not something forced. This gentle alertness brings a quiet joy that has no cause. He often said that seeing yourself without judgment is the beginning of wisdom. When you look at yourself with kindness, without the harsh voice of comparison, you begin to understand your inner world with clarity. And perhaps the most important reminder he gave was, do not imitate anyone, not even him. He insisted, be a light unto yourself. This means trusting your own perception, your own intelligence, your own awareness. Living this teaching does not require effort, it requires sincerity. It does not demand discipline, it asks for honesty. In this simple, choiceless awareness, truth reveals itself naturally, just as a flower opens when there is sunlight. This is how you walk the pathless land in daily life. Dear seeker, as we come to the end of this journey together, I invite you to pause for a moment and feel the depth of what Krishnamurti truly shared. His teaching was never meant to become a philosophy to memorize or a belief to follow. It was an invitation for you to discover freedom within your own awareness. He reminded us again and again that truth is not found in the past, not found in books, not found through any guru, and not even through him. It is found when your mind becomes clear, open, and sensitive to the present moment. If this message touched your heart today, I welcome you to share your reflection in the comments. Let me know what part of Krishnamurti's teaching spoke to you the most, or simply type Jai Gurudev to show your presence and your sincerity on this path of inner awakening. Your words may inspire another seeker who is silently listening. And before you leave, I kindly ask you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who is ready to walk the pathless land with honesty and love. Your support helps this wisdom reach more hearts. Also, tell me what you would like the next video to be. Do you want to explore more of Krishnamurti's teachings, or shall we dive into the wisdom of other masters like Alan Watts, Osho, Yogananda, Raman Maharshi, or Lao Tzu? Your suggestions guide the direction of this channel, because this space is created for you, and for every seeker who wants to understand life more deeply. Thank you, dear friend, for walking with me today with such openness. Until we meet again, stay aware, stay gentle, and stay true to your inner clarity. Jai Gurudev.